Morning everybody, Jeff from Musbucky Valley Garage. So I do a little short for you this morning. We have some areas on our S10 that need to be repainted. On this area right here, we had some stains behind the tailgate, so we wanted to get that taken care of. And it was actually just a little bit of damage right here. So we metalworked this area right here, and we sanded everything with 320 grit, and then we went ahead and taped everything off. You have to really watch that overspray because the high volume, low pressure system puts out a lot of paint. So you want to make sure that you're taking tape off everything. These are the frame rails for the bumper. And underneath here, you'll see, like right here, the exhaust pipe. You want to take and tape that off too. And then the spare tire here, and this right here is the little orifice where you take and stick the thing, raise and lower the jack. So before you take and spray any paint, you want to take the air hose, and you want to blow everything off really good. And that will also tell you if you have any tape that's loose. So when you go ahead and mix the paint, let me show you what that looks like. So the paint we like to use, we get from Finish Master, not a sponsor. It's Omni, O-M-N-I. I've been using their stuff for quite a few years and really like how it lays down. So to take and do this job, you'll need the paint, and then it is an epoxy paint. So you'll need the Omni hardener, and then you will also need the Omni thinner. So you'll start out with a graduated cup. Today we are mixing up 4 ounces of paint, and that ought to be more than enough to take and give us several coats on this. So what we did is, it's going to be warm today, so we used a little bit more thinner than we usually use. So we filled this graduated cup through a strainer. As I say, and we poured everything into the cup using a strainer. We use this kind of strainer to take and put all our ingredients into the cup. So we filled up 4 ounces of paint, okay, which ought to be enough. And in hardener, it's 4-1-1, which is 4 parts paint to 1 part hardener. So that brought us up to the 5 level, okay. And then the thinner, since it's a little bit warm today, we want to thin the paint down a little bit so it doesn't flash over on us, which means it dries before it hits the surface and you get a bad finish. Okay, so we used 1 3/4 parts of thinner. So anyway, we're going to be using, believe it or not, a Harbor Freight product today, which is this one right here. This is a high volume, low pressure gun that we really like. We picked it up. It was about $35, and we just connected it out to our compressor. And to take and try it out, we tried painting some steel, see what kind of finish we got on it. And it actually laid down a really nice finish. There's all kind of adjustments on it. You run this at 25 pounds per square inch, and you notice that we have a gauge on here, and we also have a regulator. So when we connect that up, we're going to adjust that to 25 pounds per square inch, and you run the compressor wide open, which is, for our shop air, is about 110 pounds. Okay, so this will go ahead and do that. So what we'll be doing is we're pouring our paint into here, and then we're going to be doing several thin coats to take and build up to our final finish. And then it should lay down nice and flat. And it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So the real heat of the day here in Los Angeles has not hit yet. So let's go ahead and lay down some paint. So of course, when you're taking spray and paint, you must put on personal protective equipment, because you got to put gloves on, and because the stuff gets into your body, make you ill. And you also have to use a respirator. So we have one very thin coat on here, and it's already starting to come in. So we'll wind up putting about 5 or 6 coats on this, and it's actually looking really nice. So when you're spraying the paint, you want to leave about 5 minutes between the coats to allow the paint to tack up. Otherwise you'll have runs. Okay, even though we kind of thinned the paint down, we put 1 3/4 ounces of thinner to 4 ounces of paint. So it's actually laying down really nice. So we have some areas that we had some primer in, and whenever you're shooting the light colors, I generally take and shoot those first and give them a second or two to take and dry a little bit before I come back with a heavy color, and then it won't allow the primer to come through. But looking good so far. Everything's laying down nicely. All right, so we're to the point here where we are going to take and put the final coat on, okay, because we have everything covered, and we just want to take and give the finish a little bit more thickness for a little bit more durability. Body looks good, bodywork looks good, paint looks good. Okay, now, if you make a mistake, there's 2 ways that you can go. Actually, thinking about it, there's 3 ways that you can go. You can wait till this all hardens up in about 4 days or so, and then you can sand it all down with wet sanding, and sand it all down and do it over. Okay, and that's about 4 days out. Okay, if you make a mistake and you have like a run, you can wait till it hardens up, and you can use a razor blade and you can cut it out, and then you can buff it. Okay, or you can, when the paint is still wet, you can take and fill a gun up with thinner, and you can put some rags and newspapers and stuff on the ground to take and catch what you're going to wash off there, and wash the panel off with thinner that you use to thin the paint. Okay, and that will take and give it about 15 minutes to dry, and then you can go back and repaint it again. So this is actually looking pretty good. We won't have to do any of that stuff. That is what we've had to do in the past, when we run into problems. But I guess we get some pretty good luck today. All right, so I hope I've given you a little bit of good information, and I hope you have a great Saturday morning. Here in Los Angeles, I think it's going to be 90 today. So we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in.